that's Mrs. Reed's courage, throughout the war was noted by General Stark, who is quoted as saying, "If there is a woman in New Hampshire fit for governor, 'tis Molly Reed." Dr. Matthew Thornton opened his medical practice in Londonderry in 1740 and went on to serve as military surgeon, town selectman, political agitator, congressman, judge, state senator, and farmer. In July 1776, he traveled from his home in Londonderry to the Pennsylvania State House to sign the Declaration of Independence. When New Hampshire ratified the Constitution in 1787, Londonderry was second only to Portsmouth in importance in the state. By 1819, Londonderry was celebrating the 100th anniversary of its settlement and was the preeminent town in the state. Yet another settler family named Wilsons, whose descendants still reside in Londonderry today, provide us with the tale of ocean-born Mary. Mary Wilson, daughter of James and Elizabeth Wilson, was born on a sailing ship which was boarded by pirates during its crossing from Londonderry, Ireland. The pirate captain heard a baby cry and discovered Mrs. Wilson and her newborn baby girl in one of the cabins. He promised to save everyone on board the ship if Mrs. Wilson would name the infant Mary after his wife. The mother agreed. Who wouldn't? And he presented them with a gift for the baby of silk brocade fabric to be used for her wedding dress. A swatch of this fabric is among the treasures owned by the Londonderry Historical Society today. Well, the farms changed from growing flax to dairy. That is D-A-I-R-Y. And we have a young man here today who did farming, was one of the dairy farmers in Londonderry, and sold that unpasteurized milk to the companies. There were chicken farms also that were not far behind. You'd see those chickens going in their crates with feathers flying the back of old trucks. The sugar maple trees in March now produce the sweet smelling smell of boiling maple syrup. And the seedlings of our great trees surround us and are still giving us their fruits. Prized Londonderry linen shirts worn by George Washington and Thomas Jefferson have found their way into museums. The Historical Society safeguards a treasured linen tablecloth made from the early local flax fields. At the 1969 Londonderry celebration, the peck of potatoes promised to the British Crown so long ago was sent to Queen Elizabeth. But curiously, there were stands of tall pines that never became shipmasts, and many old homes here have illegal 24-inch floorboards. Do you have one of those homes? Matthew Thornton Elementary School sits on land that he once owned. The seasonal fairs have been revived with craft fairs and church suppers serving homemade apple pies instead of rum. The very nearby historic Lithia Spring once gave welcoming cool spring water to thirsty travelers right here on this road. In the early 1900s, our first apple orchards were established. We now have 5 of the apple growers that produce many fine varieties of those favorable, delicious apples. Our town common area serves as a place to honor past residents, from those early settlers to veterans of wars who have served and made sacrifices for our freedom. At one time, this very highway beside us was a winding, dusty dirt road called Dunstable Path, and was used to travel from Nashua to Derry by a carriage pulled by 1 horsepower. Today, 400 horsepower vehicles make use of this straight paved road, and supposed to be 55 miles an hour, designated as New Hampshire State Highway 102. Now also we hear the jets fly over on their way to the nearby airport. Now, you too are a part of Londonderry's history, as you have come to witness the unveiling of this Welcome to Londonderry sign. May it always remind those who pass by, with its date inscribed and the apple symbol of our ancient, rural, and unique history, its past, its present, and its future. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Marilyn. The idea of welcome signs originated with a few of us in town thinking about ways to add a decorative touch to the landscape of town. We lived in this town long enough to appreciate and support the many things that make it such a special place. An attractive sign to say welcome to Londonderry seemed like a great way to share that feeling with the rest of the world. So today is partly about counting the blessings we have in our town. I'm sure we all have our own lists, and here's mine. Includes the award-winning schools that just graduated and another remarkably accomplished class of seniors just last Saturday. A plethora of youth sports and rec programs that serve thousands of kids in this community, all made possible by adults who freely given their time. A school board that has distinguished itself with innovative alternative education programs and one of the lowest school district dropout rates in the state. A forward-thinking town council that has developed time-tested growth control plans and capital planning processes. Chief executives like Dave Caron, the town manager, and Nate Greenberg, our school district superintendent, highly respected in Londonderry, in the state and beyond, who've assembled really top-notch staffs of professionals who I feel very privileged to have got to know and worked with in the recent years. Then there's, of course, the rustic countryside, the many tracts of preserved conservation land, our 5 apple orchards. And I must say, just 2 hours ago, driving down High Range Road to get here, I almost ran over a wild turkey right by Sunnycrest Orchard, so you never know. And the huge spirit of volunteerism and charitable giving we have today, as evidenced by our community's record-breaking turnouts to be blood marrow donors, to donate hair to cancer victims, to walk for cures. Not to mention Londonderry's historic past that Marilyn just told us about. These are the kinds of things that for many of us make Londonderry a special place. And they're the source of the pride that moves us to say to those who visit our town, welcome to Londonderry. The Solid Waste Advisory Committee picked up on the welcome sign idea since we saw it as an extension of the Beautify Londonderry program we've been running for the past 5 years, every spring. But it has to be said that from the design to the graphic arts, the site location to the request for proposals, the fundraising to all the planning for today's celebration, people from all over town helped to make this idea a reality, a real community effort, and I'd like to recognize them. First, we couldn't have held this ceremony today without the help of some very special people. We needed something to stand on, this riser. I called Building and Grounds Director for the district, Chuck Zappola, and the only thing he said to me was, where and when. I called Dottie Grover at the cable department. First of all, I've got Steve Feinberg here from Apple Tree Business Services, serving Londonderry for, I believe it's total of 20 years now. Steve? Tony DeSessa, Wildcat mascot, representing Londonderry Youth Football and Spirit, the Londonderry Wildcats, serving the youth in town for 29 years. Joyce Jobin, president of the Londonderry Rotary Club. And they've been serving the town, I believe, for 26 years. Giovanni Verani, Prudential Verani Realty, that's been in town serving the community